Hey guys, another X77 here. Oh boy, do I got a beauty in my garage. I believe this is a 78 Dodge bed. I don't know the exact thing, whether it's a power ram or not. I don't know. Rust. Homemade repairs. Pop rivets. Bondo. What's that? I don't know. Drippage. Drippage. I don't know what that is. I think it's just a shitload of primer bubblegummed on there. Homemade stuff. Some I don't know. Some more homemade stuff that had pop rivets in it. Goes all the way up. Right here's the line. Goes all the way up, and then there's a pop rivet buried. And down there's some really big deep pits. I don't know if you guys can see the depth of those pits, but I think it's just really thick primer. I don't even know what this is, man. I don't even know what they sprayed on there. They probably sprayed the whole thing with Pour 15 or something. I don't know. I don't even know what's behind their homemade patch. But what I'm doing to this bed, and you guys can see it's not the prettiest thing in the whole world, and it's not going to be the absolutely show car that it isn't ever going to be. I don't know. It's not going to be a show car. This is going to be a fucking fun to drive, hunting, off-roading, just to say that I have a 78 that's still on the fucking road and looks good kind of job. So we're not going for dead fucking straight. We're just going for really looking nice with a couple of little ripples in her and whatnot. We're really not going for nothing major here. Someone's been in here before. You can see the welds. I don't know what they did. And you guys saw the pop rivets. What I'm doing is I'm replacing this wheel arch from there to there, and I'm replacing this right here on that seam, and on this side I'm replacing this as well, right here, like that. Right here is the wheel well panel. The other two panels are on their way. It's a family member vehicle. There's a little bit of a nice rust hole here. You guys see that? You can hear it crunch. Oh yeah, nice little rust hole there. You come to the back side of the panel, I could probably stick my finger through it if I pushed hard enough. So, I don't know. We'll probably be doing a little cutout here, slapping in a piece of metal, just so this rust hole doesn't become a real fucking rust hole. I don't know what to put on the outside of this bed, but it's pretty thick, and if you hit it with a hammer, it chips. Oh man, look at all that in there. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this corner. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah guys, I'm just taking the tailgate apart right now. There was an aluminum strip up here that they just, whoever, primed over as well. Looks like it was even blue at one time, and I don't fucking know. That's not going back on. I was just hitting some of these edges. You can see where that shit chipped off. I'm just hitting some of these edges to get them to flatten out with a dolly and hammer over here. Just to straighten out the edges. Right here was another one. And then there was no tailgate handle and the latch was stuck. Wow, that camera's blurry, huh? The latch was stuck, so I got that open and pulled out the latch assembly, and the latch assembly is just all rusted and bent and shitty, broken, so I don't know what's going on with that. But I'm doing panel replacement. I'm not doing any panel replacement tonight. I really don't want to cut out this wheel well until I get this panel, so I know how to fit both panels together, really. But I'm going to get my inline sander on this with some 80 grit and get her semi-straight, I don't know, and see where all the real bad highs and lows are. And then I'm going to go from there. Like I said, it's not going to be 100%, but it's going to be better than it is. And it's not horrible right now for as old as this is either. So we're going to rebuild this box and get her all pretty and put her in some gray epoxy primer. We're also going to bury this seam. We're getting rid of this seam. I don't know what's going on here because this bed is lower than this tail light panel. And it's really not adjustable. It's all welded, you know. I mean, right there's some spot welds and some bubble gum welds and good stuff. This side's nice and level. But since we're not really going for pretty, I'll probably put in some Duraglass right here, and it'll just kind of look like a slope from here to here, I guess. And then we'll just mold it in because we're molding in these lines. So I can't just stop here. I gotta kind of, it'll look weird. It'll just go whoop and then go down. But that's what I'm gonna do. At least it'll look smooth. It'll be a 50-50. It'll be guaranteed to look fucking gorgeous from 50 feet away at 50 miles an hour. And yeah, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. My neighbor has a electric DA sander up there at his house that he said he was gonna take to the flea market and sell. I'm gonna go up there right now and see if how much he wants for it, because when I run my DA, if I'm seeing something like this, my compressor will be running the entire time I'm using the DA. I'll have a good 90 psi all the time, but the compressor just never shuts off, and it's 220 volts, so I'd rather just plug in a little 110 DA. It is a DA sander, so I think it's a Porter cable or Milwaukee, so I'm going to go up there and see how much he wants for it, and that's probably what I'm going to use on this project for the most part. That way I'm not wasting my electricity, and my compressor's life will be lengthened a little bit by not having to run all the fucking time. So I'll talk to you guys later. I'll bring you guys back when I get some sanding done so you can see all the highs and lows. So guys, I'm back from my neighbor's. God damn, that guy can talk forever. And I've heard the stories like 4 or 5 times. But it's alright. I like listening to people's stories sometimes. But anyway, I got the sander. It's a Porter cable. Oh, the lighting in here sucks. I'll just do this. It's a Porter cable. Heavy duty 5-inch random orbitable sander, orbit sander, blah 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 blah. This is a big boy, one of those kind, and it's got the vacuum hookup on it, but I don't have the original pad that came with it. I have these 2 stick-on pads. I had gotten him this one for it because he said he needed one, and then as soon as I got him this one, he already went out and bought one. But these are 6-inch pads. These aren't 5-inch pads, and it says on it, use 5-inch pads only. But we're gonna see what a 6-inch pad does anyway, because it fits on there, and all the DA paper's fucking 6-inch. So it really wouldn't make any sense for me to fucking put a 5-inch pad on here. And also, since I don't have the original pad with holes in it and shit, I'm going to be taking the vacuum shroud off because it's just going to get in my way and it's not going to be necessary. This thing goes like a bat out of hell, if you really want a Bondo fucking buzzer, this thing's probably got way much more power than you would ever need to rip apart Bondo. But I'm gonna hook up my speed controller to it, because I thought for sure it would have some kind of a dial for speed control, but it doesn't. So I'm gonna hook that up to it so I can control the speed. But I'm gonna plug it in, give her a whirl, and see how she goes. Oh, I got it for 30 bucks. The guy's really nice. He gets the shit from auctions. He goes to all the auctions because he's an older gentleman, has nothing better to do. I don't know how much he paid for it. Probably like 10 bucks or something. But he told me I could have it for 20, and I know him, and he's always selling things and breaking even and never makes any money for himself. So I tried not to take advantage of him, and I gave him 30 bucks for it. He's like, will you give me 20 for it? I was like, no. I was like, I'll give you 30. He's like, okay. Made his day, made him happy. And I know that this son of a bitch was at least $100 when it was brand new. And I know if you go to Walmart, or not Walmart, fuck that place. If you go to like Home Depot or Lowe's and you look for one of these sanders, a good Porter cable like this, the newer ones are like 130 bucks, no problem. And none of them, they don't have removable pads. They're all like fucking bolt-on pads, and they only take Velcro. And I don't like spending money on the fucking Velcro paper. I like the red stick-it paper. So I want to have a sticky pad, and this is what I wanted. So 30 bucks, it'll probably last me years, and I'll probably sand a lot of shit with this. So I'll get her all set up and start sanding and show you guys how she works. Okay guys, this setup works really good. This sander has a lot of power, let me tell you. I have my router speed, router speed, it's what it is. It's homemade speed control device. I have it set low right now. But I mean, I can turn that son of a bitch way up, or I can turn her down. And for most of the work I'm doing, I kind of want it like that speed. But you gotta watch with these electric orbital sanders, because when you initially put it on the surface, you see how fast it's spinning? You almost have to have it on the surface and then start it, because if you have it off of the surface and put it on, it's going to act like a grinder until you have enough resistance on there to make the dual action work. So let me put it on the surface and I'll show you. It's turned a little too low now, but as you guys can see, it's working good. It's taking that black shit right the fuck off. I got some 80 grit on there now. But I mean, if I turn this goddamn son of a bitch way up, you guys will see it'll act like a fucking grinder. It'd be an awesome Bondo hog. Check this out. There you go, that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be doing a lot of sanding with this thing. It's going to be a lot quieter and a lot nicer, and I think it's going to save me some money in the long run, and it'll be a lot nicer than running this goddamn bastard for fucking 6 hours straight trying to sand all this shit. So I think that was a well invested 30 bucks, and I'm going to get sanding. And I'll bring you guys back when I get some progress made. Okay guys, I've been out here an hour on this thing. The sander is working fucking amazing. I'm glad I bought it. It used to be a race truck. Blue with orange stripes. Oh yeah. But I didn't get down in the corners yet. I just hit it real quick. Yeah, real quick. I hit it forever with 80 grit. And now I'm going to go back over it again with 150 grit, and I'm just gonna feather edge everything out a little bit farther than it is right now, and with a finer grit. And then there's a couple little low spots like right here that I'm gonna put a little bit of filler in. We're not going crazy, like I said, this is not a show car. by any means. I'm just trying to make it better than it was and a hell of a lot more solid and roadworthy for a few years to come. There's a little low spot right here. I'm going to throw some Bondo in. There's a little high spot there I'm going to tap down. I don't know, there's something funky going on these edges. Probably put a little glaze in there. And same thing here, glaze here. You can see like factory spot welds or something. So I'm sure back in '78 these panels weren't perfectly straight even on a brand new truck. I mean, I'm sure they were nice, but they weren't perfect. So I'm going to go over this again with 180. I figured I'd show you the pretty orange racing stripes that were on this at one time. I don't know how many times it's been painted. It's like there's a red, something, and then there's like primer, and then there's red again, and then there's another primer, and then there's this blue with the red stripe, and then there was that black shit over top of it. So it's got its fair share of layers. So you just... Okay guys, there's 180 grit. I know I said 150 before, but I was thinking my board paper's 150. Here's 180. And that's what it's all feathered out with now. I still got to get some hand sanding done down in these corners and down in this body line. I got to get some hand sanding and down around this edge, and then I'll probably scuff these edges here and hit them with the epoxy. But as far as the back of the tailgate and the inside of the bed, I'm pretty sure it's going to get bed lined or rhino lined or something like that. I ain't touching the inside of the bed. Hell no. But there's 180 grit. She's feeling pretty smooth. I can feel some lumps and bumps. Here's a high spot. Here's a low spot. But I'm not getting too picky. I'm just going to fill some deep ones like that. I'll probably tap that high spot down because that's pretty obvious. You know. So there's 180 grit. There's the temperature. There's the heater. I'm not turning that shit on. Fuck that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I couldn't take it anymore. I didn't want to finger fuck myself down inside this body line. And there was a lot of fucking buildup of paint in there, especially with the stripes and shit. And to feather all that out, it would have been retarded. So I took my 90-degree die grinder and a wire wheel, and I went in there and I took all the paint out. And then I went in there with my DA on the edge with 80. And then I did it again with 180, and I cleaned out that body line so it will be pretty. I'm going to go get my Bondo and my glaze, and I'm going to start touching spots on this tailgate and see how far we can get tonight. Right now it is 10:07 p.m. and I don't know, I don't want to be out here past midnight, so that gives me 2 hours. I could do a lot of fucking mud work in 2 hours, but just gotta touch this in a couple spots. Gotta do what you gotta do. Okay guys, it is midnight on the dot, and this tailgate is ready for primer. It is not straight by any means. You guys can't see shit. It is not straight by any means, but it is smooth and it is presentable to be driven on the road. it won't get fingers pointed at it. It did come out pretty well. I got my Bondo and my glaze all over it. I sanded it all down with 150 and then I buzzed over it really quick. I threw some 220 on my new electric sander with an interface pad, and I just buzzed over it with 220 after I got all my sanding done. And now it's ready to get hit with epoxy. Gonna hit this with some epoxy. I gotta go to the paint store tomorrow, get some epoxy, and we'll throw a good layer down of epoxy on this. And yeah, then the bodywork will be pretty much roughed in, and the tailgate will be done. Fucking rights. I'll be doing some shit, I guess, on the bed tomorrow night to move along on this project.